Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, my people. It's been a long time I came online. I've been kind of busy, but I'm back. How are you all doing? I hope everyone is doing good. So it's Friday evening, and I am going to be dealing with family matters. Family matters. So I'm going to do a few admin, and we can take it from there. Please, Facebook, permit me. I just used that song to entertain my viewers. I do not have any rights to the song, but I just used it as a background music. Okay? What's going on? I'm not even live here. I'm just making sure that I'm live on all my platforms. Right. Okay. So hang on a minute. Just bear with me. It is today. We are going to be talking about marriage across the borders. Marriage across the borders. So, like we all know, a lot of people are in relationships where their partners are abroad, somewhere in a different country, while the other partner is living in another country. We are going to be dealing with the outcomes of that kind of relationship, be it a marriage relationship or any kind of relationship where a partner is across the border. So we are going to be looking at all the effects, the outcomes of that. And I'm going to be doing that in the next 45 minutes. So I'm really very, very short of time, but I will do justice to that topic. I trust that I will do justice to that topic. So if you know anybody who has a partner, husband, boyfriend, fiance, who is abroad and they are living in a different country, you will do well to tag this person along and also share and follow this page. As God bless you as you do that. I am just going to do the same. You know how we roll. Please leave me a comment. Let me know where you are joining me from which country you are joining me from. That I will really appreciate that. So thank you, and just share and comment done so that we can start. How are you all doing? Hi, Victoria. How are you, my darling? How are you doing? I've missed everybody. I'm giving a shout out to everyone who has asked of me. For the past few weeks, I haven't been online. I have been very busy, engaged with other things. So a few of you have popped up to me on my WhatsApp and asked of me. So I really do appreciate all of you who said, hi, how are you doing? We haven't seen you in a while. I really do appreciate that. So please share and tag somebody, because what we are going to be talking today is something that has become very, very rampant. Victoria is watching from Nigeria. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you joining me today. Yeah, so once you've shared, comments done. I want to see a lot of done, and we can start. So share to your own page, share to your group, and comment done. Chizoba, thank you. Chizzy, how are you? Thank you for sharing, and you have put done. Thank you so much. So today we are talking family matters. I'm going to be starting a series on family, relationships, and how to. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you. I'm looking good. You are also looking good. Thank you. Yeah, just bear with me, please. 1 minute. Okay, so we are good to go. Thank you, Victoria. Chizoba is watching from Nigeria. So let me see your comments keep coming. Now, we are asking, marriage across the borders, is it a blessing or is it pain? And a lot of people say out of sight is out of love. So is it out of love when you have your partner living across the border? Does the marriage fizzle out after a while? Or does the love between the two parties grow stronger and stronger? So now, across the border, what I mean by that is you may be in India and your partner is in UK, or you may be in the UK, your partner is in Afghanistan serving or doing his regular job, or you may be in Nigeria and your partner is in Dubai. That is across the borders. Also, it affects people who are in different states within a country. So let's take for instance, if you're in Enugu and your partner is in Abuja or Sokoto in Nigeria, this also affects you. So is it a blessing or a pain? Now, if you have experienced this in any way, shape, or form, you may have some things that you want to put in the comment box. Please, I beg of you to do that, and I will pick up as we go along and I will talk about it. But I am going to start giving us tips and points on the outcome of such relationship. Now, we know that marriage is meant for two people who have actually left their parents to come together to form a union. And when these two people come together to form a union, a lot of things come into play on daily basis. So if you have your husband with you or your wife with you in the same house, you know that every day by day you plan together, you work together to achieve a common purpose. And now when the other party is the other side, it makes it a bit draggy. It makes it a bit difficult. Like we know that there is a barrier which affects communication between two parties, two partners, when the other person is not readily available. You may have some pressing need. You may have some pressing question that you want to just let out to your partner, and then you place a call. The person is not available at that time to pick up that message. It does get very, very frustrating for the other person. So my question to you is, if you are in such a relationship, how do you perceive the outcome of being in that marriage? That is a question I'm putting out to you as you're listening to me. And if you have any answers to that, please put it in the comment box and I will flag it up. So now, the outcome of such things, okay, before I go to that, a lot of things make people to live differently, even in marriage. So people get married to their partners who are in different country. They know themselves before, but they have decided, okay, I know you're there and I am in this country, but we can't do without each other. We want to get married. And so they make plans. Sometimes the man does not even come back. Marriage holds. Now, when that happens, initially it's very sweet, it's very rosy. Then at some point, the man or the woman tend to come home, or you go to the person, and then marriage starts. Children come in between. But while that person is still living away. So the outcome of that is the other party who is in, let me use Nigeria, for instance, because a lot of my viewers are Nigerians. So you are in Nigeria and your partner is abroad. What happens is the woman starts to feel depressed. Now, I'm going to look at this in terms of the wealth, in terms of security, in terms of well-being, and the status of every member of that relationship, the parties involved. So if you are a woman, or now is the woman's turn, I'm going to talk about the woman first, then I go to the man. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel elevated? Do you actually feel that you are in a relationship? Or does it make you feel very porous, very susceptible to dangers or to attack, if you may like? I want to use the word attack, from external factors. So, wealth-wise, yes, the person who is abroad may be able to send the woman money, upkeep, buy a few things, even set up a home, for the woman to live in while she is in the other country. And a lot of girls tend to like that. A lot of women tend to fall for such. They don't really take time to look into, what is my life going to be 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line? They fall prey for this. If you know a lot of girls back home, they tend to ask questions. Do you have anybody abroad? Do you know anybody that can get married to me? I am ready as long as that person is abroad. Girls tend to cling to such things. And then they make every effort to hold down a man who is abroad, and without knowing for real who that person is, or knowing for real what that person does. So when the marriage happens, you don't know whether the man actually wants to bring you over. You don't know if the man is interested in having a relationship, marriage relationship with you. But all you know is that you are getting married. And so you come under that umbrella of marriage. And that's where this question that I have asked now comes into play. What is the outcome of such relationship across the border? In terms of your wealth, your social security, well-being, and status. So wealth, yes, you may have money. They may be setting you up nicely, giving you money, monthly allowance, or as the case may be, or even buy you a house. I've seen people who ended up buying a house or putting you in a very nice accommodation and making sure that you feed very, very well. But beyond that feeding, there is a reason why marriage was created in the first place. It was created so that two of you can fulfill a destiny. Two of you can fulfill a purpose. And when a woman comes into a marriage, they come into a marriage to support and help the man who has vision, who has something that he is already doing, which the woman is coming to do or to help with. Now, if the man or the woman is somewhere else, it becomes very, very difficult to fulfill that. And the outcome of that is that the woman begin to feel depressed as time goes on. Marriage may be born out of love. That marriage may be born out of love, because when you engage with somebody over a time, talking on the phone, having video calls, somehow you start to develop something for that person. So marriage may be held in that balance for a period of time, but then it does not take away the frustrations, the depressions that come along with it. Okay? So when you have a partner who is across the other side, as a woman, it tends to bring argument between the two of you, because you really don't see each other eye to eye to be able to ascertain what that person is, the communication line that the person has opened up. Whatever the person is saying to you is totally different from when you're talking to somebody one-on-one. When you're talking to your partner one-on-one, you're holding hands, you're touching, you're using facial expression, body language, and everything. So when you are not in the same place at the same time, communication goes down. So somebody may perceive you, the other party may perceive you as saying something else, whereas you are saying a different thing. So it easily creates or opens that line for argument during communication. So you say something, the person misunderstands it and says something else, argument erupts. Argument starts from there. So these are the things. Another thing is that with time, the parties start to grow apart. So if you're just joining me, please do share this video on your wall. Start a watch party. We are talking about marriage across the border. Is it a pain or is it a blessing? Now, there's this argument that out of sight is out of love. So those are the things that we are dealing with now. We have to look at it critically and look at it from the stand viewpoint of people who have experienced this and give examples of how that affects everyday normal relationship life. Okay, so thumbs up. I see thumbs up. Yvonne, you're welcome. I'm really happy to have you here. So Victoria is asking, marriage across the borders, is it a blessing or is it out of love? Now, a lot of people, I've said it before, that a lot of people get married to people abroad, I would say, out of being materialistic, except in cases where you know each other before that person travels. Because I've always maintained that it is better to marry somebody who is your friend. Now, if you don't know that person before, I will advise, make friendship first. Establish friendship first before proceeding onto marriage. Because marriage is deeper, is far more deeper than you think. A lot of things come with marital commitment and the covenant of marriage. And so when you find yourself in a place where you don't even see your partner, you don't even talk to your partner, it becomes draggy. Experience have taught me that a few people I know, they have been in a marriage relationship across the border, and for months, like 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, they've not even spoken to their partners, not even on phone. But when they started very well. Somebody referred somebody, and then relationship started, and then they end up being in a relationship or marriage relationship. And Yvonne said it's both depending on your relationship. Yes, it depends on your relationship. So like I was saying, some people like that, they end up for months not even talking to each other. There is no communication. Possibly they may be sending text message and responding to text messages, but that in itself is not marriage. That in itself is frustrating, and it brings about a lot of depression, especially on the side of the woman, because we have been taught, we have been schooled to know that when you are in a marriage, you are not to look outside for any satisfaction whatsoever. A lot of people are from that school of thought. And if you're growing up in an African background setting and the Asian setting as well, they tell you that once you are married to a man, you are not even allowed to have friends who are of the opposite side. So in all of that, we abide by such teachings and doctrines. And so religiously as well, it's also part of the thing that is being propagated, that if you're in a marriage relationship as a woman this time, you are not to keep an opposite sex. So you are narrowed to that's your partner. And when that partner is not forthcoming with open relationship, giving you all the niceties that a woman like to hear. You know, women, we are emotionally built. Women are meant to be emotionally stable from the things that they hear from their husbands. Now, when that is not forthcoming, a woman becomes uncomfortable. I've not even delved into the aspect of sexual gratifications. So when that is not there, it creates a lot of imbalance in the emotional state of the woman. And that plays out a lot of times when you then have communication with that partner. So look at it this way, where you have your partner who speaks to you once in 2 days, once in 3 days. Yeah? And this partner, you're waiting for the call at all. Everything you're doing, you leave it. You're waiting. You're texting. You're asking, are you still phoning me today? And then that person phones. Whatever you haven't said in 2 days or 3 days, you want to squeeze it into that 30 minutes conversation or 1 hour conversation. And imagine where argument erupts in the middle of that kind of discussion. Because that person, as you're growing day by day in that relationship, you are also growing apart. You are growing apart. It's like this. Okay? Because you tend to have all these insecurities in your mind as a woman. You definitely will have that. Except you don't love the man that you have married. You will have that insecurity, and that insecurity will seep through communication. And that's when you find that the woman is always accusing and accusing. Oh, you haven't called me for 2 days. You didn't even bother with me. Maybe it's because you're living with another woman. Maybe it's because you're going out with somebody else over there. That is insecurity. And insecurity spoils relationship. Nobody wants to be hearing, you said, you did. That is because you are not seeing that person face to face. If you live in the same house, wake up in the same bed, wake up in the same room, you know what your husband is doing on that day. The husband knows what the wife is doing on that day. It makes life meaningful. The woman will feel fulfilled. The woman will feel satisfied. But whereby that is lacking, you start to grow apart. And what's argument is always erupting in between conversation. What the man does is they start to say, this woman is a nagging wife. This woman, I cannot tolerate her behavior. I cannot, after everything I have done for her, after everything I do, I send money, I send upkeep. I've put her in a house that is very beautiful. I've put her in a house, bought her a car, and yet she still nags. She still talks to me in this manner. What does the man do? The man goes and gets herself a side. And before you know it, there is no longer a relationship. So this is what happens. Across the border, relationship is very, very dicey. Except the two parties that are involved, they are disciplined to a core. And they really don't care whatsoever the other party is doing. When the woman does not care or does not have any love for the man, it may be tolerable. The person will just see it as it is. Whatever will be, will be. Whatever Well, how do you say it? Que sera, sera. Whatsoever will be, will be. And, you know, whenever you will see, we see. Whenever we talk, we talk. But to me, that is not a relationship. In that case, it's no longer a blessing. Remember, the question is it a blessing or is it a pain? Now, I'm coming to the men. This was for the women. Most women will come into that relationship genuinely. But do you know that half of the times, most men that you start chatting with abroad, they already have a wife? Do you know that? Most of the men, they already have somebody that they've kept somewhere, either at home or here. Or they've been married before and they are just looking for somebody to get hold of, and then they can say to the person here, bye-bye. You know? So you now become the sacrificial lamb as a woman. And the expectations that you come into the relationship with, when it's not being met, the man is going to still say, I don't really fancy this. I'm going to give you an example. There is somebody who once said to me, I have 2 women in my life, one here and one there, and I love the 2 the same. Now, I want to put this question out to you. Do you think a man can love 2 women at the same time? It's a question. And please, I will need you to put an answer in the comment box. Do you think a man can love 2 women equally at the same time? To me, the answer is no. How can you even begin to say you love 2 women at the same time? Most men abroad, that's what they do. I'm sorry, I will not come to this platform and lie to you and say, oh, more than 80% of them, yes, there are genuine ones. There are ones who are clean. All they want is just come outside, hustle, have a wife, back home. You know, with time, they bring the person over. But majority of the time, 80%, most of them have families here. And they are looking for women back in Nigeria. But you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. So they come to you with all manner of promises. And what is the outcome of such? Onyinye Yechi said, no one can do that. Nobody can successfully love 2 women equally at the same time. It's either you're fooling one and you genuinely love the other, or you don't love any of them at all. Yes, I have men watching me now. Please, can you tell me, as a man, from a man's stand viewpoint, what do you think? Do you think as a man you can love 2 women at the same time? Now, men tend to promise women a lot of things. They tend to promise, I will be there for you. You are everything to me. You are this, you are that. But inside of their heart, who can know the heart of a man? Who can fathom it? That's what Bible says. It said the heart of a man is desperately wicked. And I tend to go with that, because most of the time, men, they promise girls, young girls, they promise women a lot. And when a woman hears such things, it becomes like a soother for their ears. Their heart becomes gladdened. They say, oh, this one loves me. This person loves me. And they give their hearts wholeheartedly to the man. And men, they understand these things, so they prey on this. They prey on women who are more susceptible to things like that. Now, there are genuine ones. Don't get me wrong. There are people who are genuinely looking for a wife material to marry. And when you see such people, you know them. On Sunday, I am going to be coming back with how to know a husband material. I'm going to be dealing with that on Sunday, 5 p.m. So if you hang out with me on that day, I am going to be teaching on that, and we can look at options together. So now, back to what we are saying. Is it a blessing or a pain? No one can genuinely love two women at the same time. You will be fooling one and loving the other, or you are deceiving both of them. That person will be like a, what do you call it? A playboy. It's only a playboy who will successfully manage that, but that is not love. You can manage that, but in itself, it's not love. Okay? So when love is in question, when love is there, we know the attributes of love. Love is that you care about that person. Whatever happens to that person is like it has happened to you. You don't see yourself different from this partner. You see yourself as one. You see yourself as, if I can't live without this woman, I can't live without this man. Love does not keep record of wrong. It does not envy. It does not keep malice. It does not seek to put the other one down. That is love. Now, one man cannot successfully do that with two women or three women. It's not possible. But what do we find? We find that, yes, three women can be in a marriage relationship with one man. So the first two may be suffering and one will be enjoying. It's always the case. Check out polygamous homes. Check out people who have been in a relationship where there are three women. Or is that the women, maybe out of timidity and out of nowhere to go, they hang in there in the balance. Now, back to the story I was telling you. Somebody once said to me, I love my women. He actually has three women. And he said, I love my women equally. I do not discriminate any of them. So I have 6 people. Please, can you share, tag somebody to hear this, what we are talking about today. Share it on your wall and comment done. I want to see done on the comment section. Please, if you can do that for me, I will really appreciate it. Because a lot of people have messaged me and really asked for this series. It's a situation that is ravaging a lot of homes. A lot of women are dying in silence. So share, and follow this page if you're not following. So thank you, and God bless you as you do that. So back to what I was saying. Marriage across the border, is it a blessing or a pain? The man said, I have 3 women, and those 3, I love them equally. And I challenged him. I said, you cannot do that. There is no way you can love 3 people at the same time. Now, when you have a new relationship, it's very nice. It's very sweet. Everyone is flowing in conversation. But after many years, a lot of things start to break down. If you're not disciplined, if you're not careful. And that's when you start to see that, oh, this person is not good enough for me. So I must get myself somebody else. And then in most cases, if you're abroad, you start to look back home. You see? And then you marry that one, you keep the person there. And while you're still keeping your relationship here. So with time, what happened to this person? The person actually came back to me and said, you know what you told me so many years back? Can I tell you, you were actually right. Do you know that my wife that I'm living with here left me? And I went back to my country and I brought the one from my country. Remember, he was marrying the 2 of them at the same time. He now brought the one from the country to UK here. And they only lasted 1 year. And that one left. So the first one has already left the man. Second one left. Third one left. What could be the outcome of having marriage across the border to different women? This is the result. Because with time, that woman will tend to know that you really, truly doesn't love me. You don't love me. Most of them will have children from different women, and then they marry whoever in Africa. And when that one comes here, they realize that, oh, this man has been lying to me all this while. And the marriage starts to disintegrate. And you will end up scattering. It only takes the grace. It only takes a woman with a heart of God or a man with a heart of God to be able to hold family together in that kind of relationship. I am not giving you what I have not seen. I have seen and experienced people who have marriages across the border and the detriment to the people, the parties involved. So whereby you can avoid it, if it's not imminent that you must keep your partner in a different country, please make sure that as soon as you get married to someone outside, that you are coming together in a union, because that's what God calls it. I do not solicit for families to be far apart or wide in different countries. It brings a lot of problem. It brings a lot of problem. I must say this to you. Somebody once said to me, somebody that I know very well, who is in the United Kingdom, a man in elderly. He has lived in this country for 24 good years, 24 solid years, had 5 children with his legitimate wife. Those 5 children, the last born was just born before he left his country in Africa to come to United Kingdom. And now the 5 children, all of them are married with children, and he has not seen them. They talk on the phone, talk to the wife, but he has not seen his children in 24 years. So you can understand where I am coming from. It got to a point where the woman does not even want to have anything conversation to do with the woman, with the man. And this man genuinely was working hard, sending money to train his children in school. Now his children are all grown up. They've left home. They are all married, working in different places, well placed in their own jobs, but they don't have any relationship with the father. So for the men, this is another resultant effect. And this man is crying all over the place. He will call, can somebody talk to my wife? My wife doesn't want to talk to me. Well, would you blame this kind of woman? For 24 years, she was the one catering for the children, even though the man may be sending money. But relationship has fizzled out over the years. There is nothing to talk about. There is nothing that ignites the fire of love in the heart of that woman. Maybe at a time she was telling this man, come back home, let's live like husband and wife, come back, or you make it available for me to come. But do you know that most people are held down by immigration status in the country that they are living in? Some people travel abroad just to stay for a few years and then come home, make money and come home, and they become stuck. And if you look at if you compare the statistics, it's mostly men that are affected by this. So they go hustling. They travel out looking for greener pasture, which is good in itself. Economic migration is good, but it becomes difficult for them to bring their partner over. Before you know it, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 20 years, no paper, no settlement in the country of abroad, and it becomes difficult to run their families. But I think in this life, we have to prioritize our needs. What is priority to us? What do we consider first? Is it family? Is it money? Is it whatever? Because to be honest, if you really want to be with your family, paper or no paper, you will say to hell with paper. You go home and you look after your kids. You run your home with you. You can save enough money to be able to do something in your country of origin where you have your family. But most people tend to say, no, I live comfortable in the country where I am, and the person can be there. But there is a consequence that comes with that. The example that I just gave, as we speak, the man in question has lost grip of his family. So every time he calls his children, it's either he's arguing with them, because he tends to start saying things like, you don't call me, none of you care about your father. And children will say, why are you bothering me? Where were you all this time when I was growing up? Where were you? And the man will be like, oh, but I've been sending money, I've been doing this. Well, it doesn't matter. That's what you would do on the base as a basic anyway. If you're a father, it's expected of you to train your children, to send money home. But beyond that, beyond sending money, there is something that comes with bonding with your home, with your children, with your wife. By the way, let me say this. I hope you know that the best gift you can give to your children is them observing you loving their mother as a man. That's the best gift you can give them. When they don't see that, when that is lacking in all their formative years, adolescent years, teenage age, adulthood, you haven't given them anything. Unfortunately so, it's very sad indeed, because I feel very sorry for this particular person. It came to a point where the wife is now able to travel. She has trained all her children. She's not able to travel. Her own family helped her, and she was able to come to UK. She came to UK and she went straight to her sisters, not even bothering about. Yes, some people may say is a very wicked woman. I don't fancy that. I don't encourage that. But only God knows how she felt. Only God knows what the woman went through in 24 years. Maybe she thinks she's no longer relevant. Or maybe she thinks it's no longer the case of how it was before. So I rather stay here with my family that I know instead of going to my husband. And that was another case on its own. I've seen cases like that over and over. I prefer to live with you in the same house. We drink gari, we eat whatever we have, fight together, settle it, and smile together. Put smiles on my face, and I put smile on your face. To me, that is marriage. That is what bonding is all about. And the other thing for men is it makes them very vulnerable. Opens them up to a lot of things. Anybody can come in and pretend to be a wife figure in your life. But they're actually there to milk you or to deceive you and put you in a family way with them. And when that happens, the family that you have, which is the legitimate one, suffers. So that is another detriment. That's the outcome. And that way, it's a pain. Because you cannot keep two. You can't keep two families. It's not possible. You will stress. As a man, you will look older. You will hear nagging all the days of your life. And the woman cannot trust you anymore. And when your woman does not trust you, it's living hell for you as a man. Okay? And, these are the things. When that happens, I don't know how you can solve that kind of a problem, because a lot of men have fallen into that net. A lot of men have fallen into that problem. And they are all living abroad. They are stuck with a woman somewhere who's had children for them illegitimately. And they're having to pay childcare. They're having to pay, because in most cases, they don't marry those women. But they have children. So they have to pay childcare. They have to pay this and that. So if you are the wife, the legitimate wife, and you're living across the border, the man is going through so many things in their head, and they can't keep up. So you may be the one at the receiving end while he's trying to fix his problem, and they may not tell you. So it's better to have a marriage relationship where you see your husband see you on regular basis, and that way you can maintain a family. And you will be able to maintain a family in a godly manner, in a manner that when heaven asks of you, what have you done with what I have given you, you can boldly say, yes, I was the best wife to my husband. Your husband can say, yes, I was the best husband to my wife. And you wake up, you plan, you can achieve a common purpose, a common goal. And if at all you are abroad and you have papers to go home, if you have your partner across the border, make it a duty to at least twice in a year go home and see your wife and kids. And not just for 1 week or 2 weeks, spend time with them. It makes a whole lot of difference. It can still keep your family together. Now, remember we said, is it a blessing or a curse? It can be a blessing if a man who is outside is doing it this way, coming home regularly, making sure that you are running your home as the way it should be, not keeping two homes. That way, it's a blessing. Because one person here, the other one there, but you see yourselves regularly, you can achieve a lot. The woman will not feel the difference. The man will not also feel the difference. You can have something in common. But whereby it's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, you haven't seen eye to eye, there is something wrong. And you are heading for the worst. All right? You are heading for the worst. The marriage may end up scattering. Why? Because the foundation is not right. So if you are going to go into such relationship, you may want to be asking your partner what the plan is. Am I coming over, or what exactly do you want out of this marriage? Is it to have somebody in Nigeria whenever you come, 5 years, 6 years? You know, for a woman, time does not wait. For a woman, by the time you sleep and wake up, you're already 35. The next time you check, you're 40. And the person is still there hustling. At the end of the day, hustle is good, but who is going to enjoy that hustle if you don't have a stable home and a stable relationship? It's still back to throwing things to the dogs. Because the dogs will come. The wolves will come. I call them the wolves. Those who want to take where they have not sown. They will definitely, they are out there, they're everywhere. They will come. So it is imminent that you spell out, you define exactly what you're getting out of the marriage. What are you going to put in and what you're going to get? And that way, you can at least have a sense of fulfillment. Don't forget that as you start to grow apart, when there is no regular contact, regular communication, regular intimacy with your husband or your wife, definitely you start to grow apart. So when that happens, how do you salvage that? So I am going to be stopping. If you have any question, you can type it in the comment box. I am going to pick that up. I am going to be stopping it here. So I will conclude by saying that marriage across the border, you can look at it from two ways. It can be a blessing. It can also be a pain. It can be a blessing if there is regular contact with the partner, with your husband or your wife. But it can be a pain if the person is abandoned and the other partner gears off to do whatever they wish. It's a serious pain, and it takes God to recover from such, because the woman will start feeling used, abandoned, and rejected. It leads to depression. It leads to emotional instability. It leads to lack of trust. And that way, it is a pain. Okay? So that's where I'm going to stop today. All my lovelies, thank you for sharing. Those of you who have shared, if you have any question or you want to comment, put the comment in the comment section and follow this page. Say it with Ada. If you don't know, if you're just watching me for the first time, my name is Ada Maduebuna, Child's Mental Health and Social Wellbeing Advocate. So I am looking at family matters in the next couple of weeks. At some point, there will be a seminar which I am going to be holding, and I will put out the information as time goes on. Seminar on how to know the right kind of man to marry if you're still single. And there will be it will be 2 seminars. The other one will be how to live in a relationship, in a marriage relationship, the things that guard relationships. The points will be out there. I am going to be having a seminar on that. We deal with intimate matters, but I can't say that online. I can't say this openly to everybody, but we will deal with that in a separate seminar, which I am going to be putting out the information before this year runs out. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for being with me today. God bless you. On Sunday is 5 p.m. and I will be looking at, let me give you the topic now, so we are sure of what we are doing. Yeah, so on Sunday is going to be the types of men to avoid in marriage. What are those type of men to avoid? The kind of men, the things that you will see in your man, then you know that you are in for trouble. So we are going to be looking at that on Sunday. So thank you. Until I come your way again on Sunday, is Say It with Ada. Good evening. Bye-bye.